So like I said, first thing we're going to start with is GBP USD today. This has moved lower about 2% in the last 2 days. Even before that, if you go back and we look at GBP USD on the hourly chart, this has been down. Even if you go back to the beginning of September, from its September high, it's down about 3.5%, about 480, almost 500 pips. So it's a big move for a currency pair in a month. So yesterday, like I said, we had that A1 entry at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and that sent this thing lower. Once it got pushed lower and found its bottom at the end of the day yesterday, it formed this bullish divergence down here. That bullish divergence set in this zone here with this pin. Let me turn my marker on so you can see. Set in this zone right here with our pin low that would give us our support level. Overnight, you can see it held that support level really well. What made me long biased today, is the fact that it tested that zone here at 3 a.m. at the open of the London session and held above the zone. As you can see, it rejected it very cleanly and has been above that zone since. So because of that, because I know that when we have bullish divergence set in and we respect the zone, when we have that setup present, I'm looking for breaks of the 50 EMA. Now, I'm not looking to trade the first break of the 50 EMA here, and I'm not going to trade this because I'm asleep. So instead of trading this first break of the 50, I want to see a higher low respected from the higher low here. You can see it's just making higher lows since yesterday with my white lines I just drew. Here at about 7 o'clock this morning, it sets in another higher low and then breaks back through the 50 EMA right here about 15 minutes ago. So this is a D2 setup as it comes back through the 50 EMA. The stop loss on this probably should go about here, and we're looking at over 2R on this setup to trade this up towards the 200 EMA. Until this candle, we've been under the 8 EMA. So now that the 8 EMA, the yellow 8 EMA, is above the red 21 and it's shifting up, we should now hold that 8 EMA and see this try to extend towards the 200 EMA above. We don't want to forecast and think that this has to come all the way up here to average daily range and reverse all the way there. And we also don't want to forecast and think it has to come all the way up here to the 800 EMA. We're going to take it candle by candle, and we're going to watch to see how it respects the 200 EMA first. The only other zone in its way on its path to the 200 is the high of day that we could box off right here that it just found resistance to a few minutes ago. Now, it's not a strong resistance level because if you look, we're actually making higher highs since the Asian session and higher lows since yesterday. So it's still holding that upward structure if you were to look at it like this. Higher highs there, higher lows here, right? So you're still in that upward trend. So that's why, to me, even though it's coming back a little bit right now, this should hold the 8 EMA and probably continue through this high of day zone up towards the 200. That's what I'm anticipating here. So we're going to keep an eye on that. This is one of the hot ideas so far today. So that's GBP USD. If we go to the 1 hour chart, just so you can see, again, the bearish bias is strong. However, overnight, you can actually see we've hit a very low oversold level, and we've had multiple breaks over the 21 EMA here on the 1 hour. So it is bearish, but we could be seeing it turn around towards the 50. The 1 hour 50 is the same price, basically, as the 15-minute 200 EMA. So it's very similar, and that's where we're looking for as far as a target on this idea. And I like that the market sentiment line has now moved up into the buy zone. Sometimes you'll get these D2 trades, and the market sentiment line will be in the sell zone still. So for me to see this now in the buy zone, that kind of builds a little bit more confidence that this should hold the 8 EMA and continue higher. Now, if it does break back down through the 8, back down through the 50, that could kill the idea. But we're looking for higher lows and higher highs. So the next part of structure here would be a higher high. And with that bar right there closing, since it's now 8:15, we're outside the 8 EMA. We're just going to let this continue candle by candle. One other thing I have to show you why this was an idea for me here. This marker, as you can see, is synced up to my 1 minute chart on the left side. Let me sync up this vertical line too so you can see exactly where it is, right? If we go to the 1 minute, you actually have bullish divergence here. It pulls the market sentiment line into the buy zone right here. And then it comes off the 50 EMA with higher lows. See, this is a higher low than the divergence low. It's making higher lows, pulled market sentiment up into the buy zone. And that's where we see this then start to extend. So you could even be trading this as a 1 minute idea with that 50 EMA retest with the L50 in the buy zone using our divergence rules. I didn't do it that way. I'm looking at it as a 15-minute idea, but they both are very much the same idea. It's bullish, right? Any questions there? That's GBP USD. We'll come back to this after we go through the rest of the pairs today. Any questions on this one? Okay, so let's move over into another trade idea. This comes from yesterday. This is also a D2 trade idea. Again, you're going to see it on the inverse side now. So I just showed you GBP USD looking bullish for the move to the upside with the D2 setup. Here, we've got the divergence on top from yesterday. You can see after that divergence is set in, it's bearish with the RSI falling, price action rising. We get one break of the 50 to the downside right here. Second break of the 50 right here. And then here, I have the entry idea marked on the third break of the 50 as it's still making lower highs. You see all the lower highs here off the divergence? 1, 2, 3. On that fourth lower high is where I have the entry idea marked. Same thing we're looking at on GU, using the 50 EMA and then using the most recent lower high as the stop loss. Now, I didn't use this pin right here. I used this pin right here because to me, this is all one structure point. So I didn't want to have it too close. That's why I backed it up to here. But I also didn't go to the top. I don't think it needed to be that far away either. So that's the D2 idea here. Now you can see it was 1.2R down to the 200. What did this do when it reached the 200? Bodied the 200 and fell 3.3R to 80R yesterday. That move actually has extended a little bit lower today down towards the 800 EMA, which would be that full reset idea. To go back to GU, look at it here. We're looking at it headed towards the 200. Look at the risk reward here to the 200 EMA. It's much better here today than it was yesterday on the Euro JPY D2. So now 2.7R, that's great just to the 200. If it wants to break through the 200 and move higher, it's going to be even better. That's because this D2 setup just has more space between the EMAs than Euro JPY did yesterday here. Like I said, only 1.2R from the entry point down to the white 200 EMA. So we should see GU do the same thing. This was in a downshift. The 8 EMA was under the 21. It held the 8 EMA to the 200. That's exactly what I'm looking for GBP USD to do here. Hold the 8 EMA up to the 200. Does that make sense? Mike said, GU probability is high. It will break, continue past that Asian range. Yeah. Yes. Correct, Mike. Correct. Yep. Lindsay said, nice idea on EJ. Yeah. It was a good idea yesterday on the D2 idea as we saw some of the JPY pairs moving lower. So this was, like I said, a D2 just like GBP USD, but on the inverse side. This is short. GBP USD is long. Okay? Any questions on that? Any comments on this? You can see the divergence, you can see the 50 breaks, and then if you hold it overnight, it finds a lot of resistance here to that 200 EMA, which is the same EMA that it bodied. When it bodies EMAs with a strong bar like this, that normally means it's going to continue in the direction that it bodies. So this bodied it to the downside, now making that 200 EMA support level become resistance here as it's tested once, twice, 3 times before the move lower, even here during today's session before the move lower now this morning. So that's the two D2 ideas, GBP USD today, Euro JPY yesterday. Now, I hope seeing the D2 ideas can give you guys confidence that the patterns we teach at ASFX do repeat. They repeat long, they repeat short, and you'll find them across different currency pairs. It's not just like the D2 system only works with Euro JPY or GBP USD. These present across every currency pair. It's about finding currency pairs that are moving, that have volume in them, and then trading those entries as best you can, getting in at a good price, and trusting the method, trusting the stop loss, trusting the 8 EMA, trusting the target ideas, and trading it properly. That only comes being able to trade it properly only comes if you have confidence in the system. That's why we've done so many back tests on the A1, the D1, and the D2, the 3 systems that I teach in the courses, because I want you to have that confidence. I did the work and I share it with you in the courses so you can build confidence in it. And then now, as time has gone on, we have our backtesting course where you can go in and do the backtesting yourself to build even more confidence in the trades so that when you take the signal, you don't panic, you don't freak out. How many times have you taken a trade and as soon as it moves up into profit, especially as you start trading bigger lots, as soon as it moves up into profit, you're looking at the dollars and you're like, yo, get out of this trade. I'm already up $2,000. Take the $2,000. Well, what if that trade was supposed to move 10 grand and you got out way too early? It's not about making money. It's about following good execution rules. I tweeted that yesterday and it's so true. Don't stare at your P&L. Your P&L is only going to get bigger. Your wins are going to get bigger. Your losses are going to get bigger. But you have to have confidence behind the rules that you're trading. That confidence comes from knowing your system, knowing your backtesting, knowing your rules, and then no matter what, in the trade, you won't be as nervous because you have that confidence. You're more focused on execution, not the outcome. The outcome of GBP USD today is unknown. I don't know if it's going to go to the 200 or if it's going to continue lower. All I can do is put probabilities in my favor, read the trade, and react as I should according to the system. So if you want more information on the system, the links are in the description. Take the courses, join the VIP. There's no monthly membership, no nothing like that. It's one-time fee, lifetime access, and you can identify these trades for yourself. It's really not that complicated. The complicated complicated aspect of trading is the mental, is the position sizing, the trade management. And that is taught in the course too, but that also gets taught through experience. So you need the system to be executing properly, to be doing the experience properly, but then you need more experience to master the psychology. And that's really what I feel like I've been coming into on the last 2 years. Cool. There's news coming in 10 minutes. Yep, I know that. Good. What's up, Dennis? Thanks, bro. Yeah, so we have unemployment claims, orange folder news coming in 10 minutes, 8 minutes. This news could shake up the GBP USD idea. So if you're in GBP USD, make sure your stop loss is locked or you're closing the trade before the news comes in. I think it's probably going to send it higher, but I'm not sure. I really am not 100% sure. Stops will be locked, profit will be taken, and we'll move on to the next trade. It's a medium impact news event, so I don't see it shaking it up too much. Okay? Yeah, everybody, you guys get it. I see everybody talking in the chat. Listen, I'm going to put right here real quick as we're going into the news. If you don't have our starter pack yet, I'm going to put a link right now in the chat for you. This is our maiden course. This is where you're going to learn how to trade the D1, the D2, and the A1. So I'll make sure there's that for you guys. ASFX is lit and I'm not even a member. Thanks, bro. I love nukes. And Discipline took a loss on GCAT for no reason because I didn't follow my rules and they're written in front of me. Randy, that's just because you want to trade. So that trade should have been on a demo account. Scratch that itch somewhere else. You've got winning rules in front of you. Practice those winning rules with your real money. Take the other ideas with your demo account. Okay? We've got 6 minutes till news. You can see GBP USD is pushing up. This morning, GBP NZD was on the watch list. As you can see, it's got a really nice market sentiment line. Just didn't present anything. We're going to look at USD JPY today because I know Dennis made some money on this. Some of the guys